Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. It's the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali kind of putting a bow on that last segment that we talked about when we talked about race and we talked about how labeling and that sort of thing. A couple of quick comments that came in during the break that I want to get in. Jackie, you're still listeners. Thank you, Jackie, for listening. And Jackie is saying that she liked the clip that we just played. K-Dub asked a very good question. So if we're the moral police, let's talk about, and he's referring directly to the last segment that we did just now with regards to the sperm donor situation. He says, if we're the moral police, let's talk about the kid won't know its biological father. Which I think is a very good point. If we're spending so much time talking about, the race of the kid, we also have a kid that's being raised with two mothers and no father. So, the kid's already got a lot to deal with coming up. And I think that that's an interesting point to kind of add to it. Ray-T is still listening to us, and she's going back to the Raven Simone. She says that she doesn't think that Raven is denying who she is. She just doesn't think she wants to be labeled. So there may be something to that as well, Tia. So I think that's a very interesting comment. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're gonna move on. We're gonna ask a couple of more what the hell questions. I want to talk about how someone actually went crazy on the panhandle. I'm gonna play a clip for y'all. We're playing a lot of clips tonight. That's interesting. We'll play another clip for y'all. I'm also going to talk about a stupid criminal, and I got a question specifically for Mr. LP. So I'm going to play this clip, this panhandler situation. It's only about a minute, but I want y'all to hear this, and then we are going to talk about it. This is a person who happened upon a panhandler and how the confrontation ensued from here. Take a listen. All right, hold on a second.
Thursday, and you got a better car than me. This is crazy. You asking for money in the middle of the street, and you drive a 2013 car. So you're going to tell me you're not going to drive this car? Your son's going to come pick you up? Or you take it and verify to her? Listen, I work hard for my money. I don't appreciate this shit. And that's why people like you get taken advantage of people like me. This is bullshit. I see this car here tomorrow, I'm going to fucking bust the window. How much you want to pay? I see this car tomorrow, watch it. I work fucking hard. 40 hours. I see you hungry. I give you every day $3, $2. Thursday, I did not eat to give you $4. And you drive a better car than me? Bumbo car. I better not see this car tomorrow.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. First of all, hopefully y'all ain't offended by the language, because if you know me, I've said a whole lot worse in my time. But anyway, there's different versions of that story. The one that I saw earlier was actually a news story where they interviewed the woman who was filming, and they also interviewed the man who was upset, and just kind of set it up once more. As a guy who happened to see a woman who panhandles, who he has seen out there panhandling, has given her money. And he obviously is annoyed because it was one day he gave her money so that she could be okay, and he didn't even eat lunch that day. I've seen different versions of this story. I've seen different commentary of this story. The woman that was filming it, she actually noticed the woman panhandling because she has given money to that woman before, and she noticed the car just like the guy did, which is the reason why she pulled her phone out to begin with, just to snap a photo. And then when she saw the verbal altercation that was ensuing, she actually turned it from snapping a photograph to actually filming the video. So Millie, I want to get you to jump in here first. Let me have you tell me how you feel, first of all, about panhandling, and how you feel about the clip that you just heard.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that I actually know someone personally who one day followed a panhandler home. They saw them get into a very luxurious Mercedes and drive into a house which was more than he could even afford at the time, because he was living with his parents at the time, just trying to put some money aside so he can get rent, to rent an apartment somewhere. And I just think it's really disgusting when people do that. And honestly, these people have even said that, some of these people make like 6 figures a year, and it's all tax-free. I think that's why maybe they do it, or I really don't know why they do it. But it is really disgusting. Personally, I would rather give somebody food than money. And I've actually had food thrown in my face from a homeless person, where I was giving them food which I hadn't even touched.
Right.
Leftovers from a really good restaurant too. And not only did he come after me, but he threw the food, and who knows what would have happened, because I was so shocked and stunned that I just stood there. But actually my friend was like, come on, we need to leave, because there were other panhandlers coming around to the same area. And I mean, we could have been beaten up or what, I don't know. But it was just, I mean, I've been there. I think we've all been there, where you give somebody some money and you can't even eat yourself, but you'll go hungry to provide for someone else.
Trying to do something nice for somebody else. Mr. LP, when you see, or hear, I should say, a story like this, what do you think, man?
It hurts my heart because I know, it hurts my heart because I'm thinking of the millions. It's becoming more and more apparent, and the sad part of that, there's really the majority that would take the money and do something right, and there's a majority that would take the food that would do the right thing. But it's just the situation like this, it goes against. Now, also at the same time, in certain situations, you don't know what, we can't blanket, and this definitely not this lady's case, but I knew of a situation where a lady had it was 2010, she had a 2001 car that she had gotten for, the church or group had gotten her family a car, but she was still panhandling, trying to make it and get some food for her children. And they got mad at her, and they tried to attack her. They ended up damaging her car, broke the windows and everything because she was panhandling. They said, well, she only had an 8-year-old car. Now I know in a situation that her kids are sleeping in that car and things like that. So we don't know every single situation and things of that nature. And that woman was stuck in a shelter for a while until she raised the money to get it fixed. It's hard, and as a person who's been through similar situations and things like that, I don't want to see that happen to anybody. And then there's also the level of being a counselor in me. There's the level of mental health that goes on. And I apologize for your situation, Millie. I'm not making excuses for that man, but we don't know if that man was mentally ill.
Yep.
And I don't want to classify at the same time every homeless person who's is
Stephen,
mentally ill.
it's an insane amount of percentage. Most of the homeless
Yes.
are mentally ill, and they need help.
Right, and a fair amount of them are military. A fair amount and it's not just this is poverty knows no color.
That is correct.
And that excuse me for using poor grammar, but it's something that
this time. Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, hey, well, sometimes I slip, but my only issue is this is an issue that is consistently ignored by all administrations for many years, that the homeless we need to do something, because honestly this is a personal issue I have, and it needs to stop.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Here's my thought on it, man. We talked a little bit about this in a previous show. Right here on the corner, on the way here to the studio, there's always somebody different. It's almost like they camp out to see which one of them are going to get to that corner, first. I'll tell you 2 quick stories about me in that corner. And we're talking about, if you're in the Richmond, Virginia area, it's the corner of Maury Street, the Maury exit off of 95 here in the Richmond area. So if you're in Richmond, you know that corner. Every time I get off the exit there, if it's in the daytime hours and if it's, relatively decent weather, there's going to be somebody there. And I'll tell you 2 different experiences. 3. I'll tell you 3. One experience I had, when the dating pool diva had us in the park, we did a food drive in the park one day, and we had a whole bunch of extras. I had Mama J with me, so I wanted to take that food with us somewhere, because it was either coming home with me or it was going in the trash, and just going in the trash is not an option. So I took it to that corner because I knew that somebody would be there, and this was a corner that was 15 minutes out of the way from where I was going. I just couldn't figure out where there was going to be homeless people at, so we went there, gave them to what we had, and they seemed to be receptive, and that's fine. Fast forward to the present, just over the last few months here in the summer, I saw a young man on the corner with a pair of New Jordans with a sign that said, "Homeless, need money." He had New Jordans, and I know they was new because I know what the Jumpman emblem looks like on the Nike. And he, I don't have to say no more about that. And then I saw what I would say, I wouldn't say elderly, but I'd say an older woman, an older black woman. She looked like she was probably in her 60s. She had on her Sunday best, she had on the big hat, and she had an umbrella because it was hot. It was blazing hot that day. She had an umbrella, and she had a Starbucks cup. And she was sitting in that same spot, and she was panhandling for money. And before you ask, was she taking the money in the Starbucks cup? No, she wasn't, because she was drinking from it. So, so I give you those examples to say that, yeah, there's some people out here that need it, but then there's some people out there, they going to work. That's their job. They going to work to get their money from you. And I'm just not going for it, man. I would much rather be the one that's given the the food and stuff like we had done. But as far as giving away money and stuff, I think my days of doing that are pretty much over. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J. I actually saw this online. I'm showing the crew right now. There's a photograph that I put on my Facebook wall a few days ago. It's a picture of a dude who is clearly panhandling. I might have given this dude some money because the sign that he had, a lot of times the sign says, "I'm homeless, need help, I need food, I need this, need that." But this dude has a sign that says, "My family was kidnapped by ninjas. I need money for karate lessons." I think I might have given this dude something because of the creativity that he had here was cool. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. All right, this one's a dumb criminal. We ain't spending no time on the dumb criminal other than to get a quick comment, and then we're going to go around. I got a question that I want to ask Steven, and then we're going to take it home. I'm getting this one from thegrio.com. This is a picture of what may be one of the dumbest people that I think I've ever heard of in my life. This is a very dumb fella by the name of Walter Earl Morrison. Walter Earl Morrison. He's a one-time UPS employee who allegedly stole a package containing $160,000 diamond, and then he traded diamond for $20 worth of weed.
What an idiot.
Let's go ahead, and I'm going to read that one more time. He stole a package with $160,000 diamond, and he traded it for a $20 bag of weed. This is Phoenix's ABC 15 is reporting. Of course, Walter Earl Morrison, he was unloading a plane at Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix. I've been there many times. Very, very nice airport. He's in the cargo zone when he came across an interesting package, interesting in air quotes. According to court documents, Morrison thought the package was cash and stuffed it in his shirt. It turns out the package, in fact, was a diamond. A spokesperson for UPS said the authorities recovered the jewel and delivered it to its rightful owner. Of course, he was promptly fired and charged with a felony theft. Millie, I'm usually not rendered speechless, but man, every once in a while we'll do a story on a stupid criminal. I don't know if we've ever gotten one this stupid before.
I would have to agree with you. However, I do have to say that if the diamond was uncut, it could just look like a rock. But as being a UPS employee, he probably would have noted that it has insurance on it for quite a lot of insurance.
How about you don't steal?
There you go.
Steven, how about you don't steal a package from your employer at work?
Just dumb. And this is where it gets me, is that, this is where my argument towards, marijuana and all that stuff goes to Pat, because it's just like the addiction is just killing it. It's like the nonsense. And like I said, it kills your brain cells. It's done.
Kills your brain cells. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. All right, Stephen, I said a few minutes ago that I wanted to ask a question kind of specific to you. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm getting a comment here from Michelle K. Let's see.
She's probably saying you got to
she's
be
going back.
the dumbest.
She's actually going back to the panhandling comment. Sorry, Michelle, took me so long to get to your comment here. But saying the old lady was so wrong. Michelle herself got cussed out by a panhandler a few weeks ago because she wouldn't give $1. The next day he was out there again, but got into a vehicle and pulled off. Gets on her nerves when people take advantage of kind-hearted people. She fed the homeless man last week, and he was grateful. So you got to be careful who you give money or food to. So definitely can appreciate that experience, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus Jai. Last thing I want to get to before we move on and get into our rants and get into our closing, Stephen. This one is pretty specifically for you, but Millie, by all means, feel free to jump in and render a comment if you choose to do this. But we've been seeing a lot of stories lately about these hackings that have been happening. Most recently, J.P. Morgan Chase. They're refusing to admit how many people were actually hacked. We know that I believe it was Home Depot that had a big problem. Target has had a problem. As the resident technology guru here at Legacy Internet Radio, we know that you do a lot of tech support and that sort of thing. So, of course, if you're in the local Richmond area and you need somebody to look over your computer, definitely get in contact with the folks here at Legacy Internet Radio. Mr. LP will definitely give you a great price, and he has taken care of me, and my computer is humming along right now because of the efforts of this man right here. But I'm asking you this question because I know that you'll have a reasonable answer. How afraid should the average person be with regards to J.P. Morgan Chase hackings, Home Depot hackings, Target hackings, identity thefts, things of that sort? Real quick, how nervous should we be? And give us just a couple of tips on how we can protect ourselves a little bit more than we may actually be doing.
To be fair, to give it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say 8.5, close to 9. And the reason being is because it's the lack of upgrade, the lack of arrogance of American companies here, and so forth. And there's also the folly of so many years of we educate people and send them to other countries, and now they're using that stuff to come back against us for a variety of reasons. And just some people just want to cause melee. Some of the best ways to fix this is these were the companies you named were some of the major ones, but there were relatively over 270 something companies confirmed. The main thing, the way to protect this is, one, change your passwords. Too many people, I have friends that have gotten credit cards or check cards, but they never use them. They say, "Oh, I never activated." That's one of the most dangerous things in the world to do. I'd rather you just totally cut the account off and just disconnect it. Don't just leave it active, because now your charge is going up and you have no way of identifying because you never activated anything on your own. I know people are very against, especially our older family members, against using cell phones and computers as much. But tie your things to get your text messages for every single purchase on your accounts of everything else, including your emails. Not everybody has the text messages, but everybody has the email relay of all your purchases. One of the key tricks I tell everybody to do is when you get your paychecks, most people have just the one checking account. I tell people all the time to set up a couple. And if anything, use the prepaid check accounts. One of the things you can do is separate your money. So heaven forbid something happens, you lost, it's stolen, then you're not just tied to one money, and then now you're waiting a week or however long and you don't have any access. When you go out shopping, your online shopping, never shop from your main checking account. Use your prepaid checking accounts, or open up a second account from your bank, and just don't have. And I prefer the prepaids because you don't necessarily, it's in line with that same bank and it's not the same routing. I used to say 8. I beg people now 10 characters, uppercase, a number, and a special character, and change them every 3 to 4 months. And you relatively would not be, you would be safe, but still stay on top of it.
You know, I have to agree with you on the prevention measures, Stephen, but I don't think people realize how easy the software that we have today, how easy it is to get through it.
One of the quick things, there's a card reader you can buy easily on. You almost can get it in the store, but you can easily get it online for like $20. There's the same scan card, Tron. People say that I'd rather give them cash versus a card or things of that nature. I could put it in my bag and just walk around throughout the day in Manhattan or any city or here in Richmond, and then come back and just load it up, and you'd be surprised how much information I can get.
That's
because
correct.
People won't protect their stuff. Another thing is like typically if you keep it enclosed in your wallets and things, you're okay. But a lot of people just keep it in the little mini sleeve and just call it a day. There's cases that you can protect it so it won't, MFI readers. You now also have the things now, you have your cell phones, your NFC readings of your accounts. You have a variety of different things. And I know people are saying it's just easy as access to your phone, but it's actually to your money, but it's easier because now you have more ability to check and verify your records at a moment's notice. If you have to wait here until you get home and everything else, that's wrong. And here's another last thing I tell people to do. Stop using your work email for all your personal transactions, like your school, your money, all these other different things. Because if you get laid off or whatever, I could tell you millions of times we were working for the Pentagon. I've been overseas. I've been at the State Department. I've been at the Department of State and a variety of other places. How many times I've seen records where they're laid off, companies shut down, and we see all this transaction. And now, because you use your company by law, they have every right to access your funds and use that information to prosecute you.
And Stephen, here's a big one. You always must have a separate computer for work and a separate for play. If your kids are going to play games on your computer, make sure it's a different one, because I have known so many people, really important people researchers who have lost more than several millions of our dollars in research, gone down the tube because
research, all types of stuff.
Yes, exactly. It was from the National Institutes of Health. And basically what happened was his kids started playing a game on the computer.
There was a recent breach, the National Institute of Health. I don't know if you remember this, Marcus, a gentleman from the Homeland Security with a bunch of records and everything, lost the case that was stolen of all the that had the encryption algorithms for all the credit card companies in the U.S. and things of that nature, and that was never recovered. And then also we need to encourage and challenge our companies to stop. If you start off with the same 4 characters of things, everybody knows as MasterCard, Visa, Discover. We need to start doing more things, more patterns, and start diversifying. We talk about diversify our funds, diversify your accounts and money. Yes, it may be more of a hassle in one way, but you'll be fine when you stuck on the side of the road. It's raining. You need a tire. You need to do something. Your child calls you from school and they forgot something. You need to take care of it, and you find out your money's gone. Then it's going to really hurt.
And Stephen, some credit card companies actually do offer this, where you can buy an RSA secure key, which changes the cryptograms every few minutes, and you can keep it plugged in via your USB port, and it automatically changes the password literally every minute or every few seconds.
Yeah, it's $160-something, but if you're depending on the amount of your spending.
Exactly.
If you're spending $10,000 or more a month.
You know, I have Steppin with Marcus J. Jackie is listening. Jackie is saying that is great information, so we're definitely glad that you guys could share that. Jackie, that's the kind of stuff that you hear from Mr. LP, Stephen Sykes, on Enliven Radio every single Tuesday. from 7 until he finishes. So we're definitely glad that you're still here with us. We got our rants and we got our closings coming up after the break. Ain't no have Steppin, Marcus J. Be back in a few minutes.